Sometimes the people we trust the most are hiding the darkest secrets. Welcome to Lumenveil Stories, where every story hides a deeper truth. Today's story is emotional, shocking, and unforgettable. A young woman spends years believing her father died mysteriously from poisoning until one night her own mother confesses something that destroys the entire family forever. But the deeper truth behind that confession was even more terrifying. This is a true story, and watch till the end.
There are some truths that don't just break a family. They destroy every memory attached to it. For most of my life, I believed my father was a good man, a loving father, a respected businessman, a man people admired. Then one evening, my mother confessed something that changed everything forever. She told us that she was responsible for his death, and from that moment, nothing in our family was ever the same again. But to understand what happened, you first need to understand the kind of family we used to be. We lived in Accra, Ghana, not rich, but comfortable. My father was known everywhere in our area. People respected him deeply. Whenever he walked through the neighborhood, people greeted him with admiration. Children ran toward him. Men praised him. Women called him responsible. To the outside world, he was the definition of a good father. And honestly, to us, he was. At least, that was what we believed. My father was charming, calm, intelligent, the kind of man who always knew the right thing to say. He paid our school fees on time, bought us clothes during Christmas, never missed important family gatherings, and every Sunday morning, he sat proudly in church beside us. Nobody would have imagined darkness could exist behind that smile, not even me. Then one day, everything changed. It was a Thursday evening. I remember because it was raining heavily that day. My father had gone out earlier for work meetings. Nothing unusual, nothing suspicious. Then suddenly, people started gathering outside our house. I still remember hearing my younger brother scream from outside. My mother rushed out immediately, and when I followed her, I saw my father lying inside a taxi, motionless. His lips looked pale, his body completely still. Someone said he collapsed suddenly after vomiting. Another person whispered, "Poison." Everything after that became chaos. The funeral happened quickly, too quickly. People talked endlessly. Some blamed business enemies. Others believed someone poisoned him spiritually. Rumors spread everywhere. But eventually, life forced everyone to move on, except us. Because after my father's death, our lives collapsed slowly. The financial problems started almost immediately. School fees became difficult. Bills piled up. My mother suddenly became quieter, colder. It was as though part of her died with him. Sometimes I woke up at night and found her sitting alone in darkness, not crying, just staring, lost somewhere deep inside her thoughts. Back then, I thought it was grief. Now, I know it was guilt. Years passed. My brother and I grew older, but one thing never changed. My mother avoided conversations about my father completely. If we mentioned him, her mood changed instantly. Sometimes she even left the room. At first, we ignored it, until strange memories slowly started making less sense. One evening, my brother asked something strange. "Do you remember how often they used to argue?" The question stayed in my mind, because honestly, I had forgotten. But after thinking deeply, I remembered things. Whispers behind closed doors, sudden silence whenever we entered rooms, my mother crying secretly sometimes, my father becoming unusually angry at night. Back then, we were too young to understand. Then came the night that destroyed everything. It was 2025. My mother called the two of us into the sitting room. Her face looked tired, different, like someone carrying unbearable weight. At first, nobody spoke. Then she finally said, "There's something I should have told you years ago." I remember feeling uncomfortable immediately. Then she looked directly at us and whispered, "Your father did not die the way people think." Silence filled the room instantly. Then she continued, "I was responsible." The world around me froze. My older brother stood up angrily. "What are you saying?" But my mother did not cry. She simply lowered her head and repeated it again. "I poisoned him." That night destroyed our family. Everything changed immediately. My brother stopped speaking to her. For months, I could barely look at her. Every memory of my father suddenly became painful. I kept asking myself, how could a woman kill the man we loved so much? Nothing made sense anymore. Then one day, everything changed again. While helping clean my mother's room, I discovered a locked metal box hidden under her bed. Inside were old letters, photographs, receipts, and newspaper cuttings. And at the bottom, a diary. That diary changed how I saw my father forever. The diary revealed things I never imagined. My father had another life entirely, a dark one. For years, he secretly ran a fake educational support organization. People believed he helped vulnerable girls from poor homes, but behind the scenes, he exploited them, manipulated them, used money and promises to trap desperate families. Some girls disappeared suddenly from the program. Others were too afraid to speak. And my mother discovered everything accident. At first, she confronted him privately. She begged him to stop. But according to the diary, my father became terrifying after that. Violent, aggressive, threatening. He warned her never to interfere again. And when she threatened to expose him, he told us something that haunted her forever. "If you ruin my life, I will destroy this family myself." For months, my mother lived in fear, pretending everything was normal, protecting us silently, trying desperately to find another solution. But according to her diary, things became worse. My father started bringing dangerous men around, holding secret meetings late at night, receiving huge amounts of cash mysteriously. Then one evening, she overheard something horrifying. He planned to move away suddenly and take one of the girls with him. That was the moment my mother broke completely. The day my father died, they argued again, violently. He threatened her, told her nobody would ever believe her if she exposed him. And according to my mother, something inside her snapped. Later that day, she poisoned his drink. Not for money, not for another man, but because she genuinely believed something terrible would happen if she didn't stop him. After reading everything, I felt sick, confused, angry, broken, because suddenly the story no longer felt simple. Yes, my mother killed him, but at the same time, the father I loved never truly existed the way I imagined. For years, she carried that burden alone, protected us from the truth, and accepted our hatred silently. One evening, I finally sat beside my mother in the hall. Neither of us spoke for a while. Then quietly she asked, "Do you hate me?" I looked at her for a long time, and honestly, I still didn't know the answer. Because some truths are too heavy to fit into simple categories like good or evil. Sometimes people make terrible choices while trying to stop something even worse. And that night, for the first time in years, I realized my mother had been carrying hell inside her all alone. The hardest part about discovering the truth is realizing the people you loved were never who you believed they were.
If this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more emotional and shocking stories from Lumenveil Stories. And tell us in the comments, could you ever forgive someone for something like this?